before, we used to say that 6 months inventory was a balanced market. We're not saying that anymore.
I question that metric, and I think that it deserves reevaluation.
Okay.
You know, going back and looking at it, that metric was established by the National Association of Realtors 2 decades or more ago. That's been the industry standard since I started.
Right.
When I started in real estate, there were still MLS sold books. And you got your book as the listing agent or a buyer's agent every week of all the new listings, the active listings, what went under contract and what closed. And it was printed out each week. And so there's the delay of the entry into the information into the database, the prepping of printing the book, receiving the book, then taking the book to the buyer or the seller to review the information. And then they're flipping through that information and they only had one listing photo to go off of and a basic description of the property. And so the consumer didn't know a lot about the property. And so they were like, well, we'll just go and look so that we can get a better sense of it. You didn't have all the information.
Right.
Now, if you fast forward to today, when an agent inputs a listing into the MLS system, within 15 minutes, it is distributed to over 50,000 different consumer websites. And so, you know, when people start looking at listings online, now they have 50 photos, a virtual tour, they have floor plans, they have maps, they have real property AVMs, a valuation measurement, like a Zestimate. They can see how long it's been on the market. They can see how many views it's received. They can see the listing agent. They can see price changes and history and tax information. And so it has become kind of like online dating.
Right.
We're swiping left or swiping right, and we are choosing within seconds whether or not we want to go and see that photo.
Right.
So the delivery of the information, the consumption of the information is happening so much more quickly now by way of the internet that we're making faster decisions as to whether or not we want to go and see a home. And so that speeds up the entire process.